Today, let's try to understand what is business requirement document, that is nothing but BRD. Why do we need BRD? When to create it, how to create it, what it focus on, and what it does not focus on. So let's get started. First, let's try to understand what is business requirement document, that is nothing but BRD. We can say that BRD defines what your stakeholder or business needs from the system or from your product or from your project. We can simply say that BRD focuses on what your business or stakeholder needs. It will not focus on how you're going to provide it, which means it is not going to focus on the technical part of your project. Clear? Now let's try to understand why do we need BRD. Very first, to align everyone in your project on same page, whether that person could be from your business team or from your tech team or from your stakeholders. BRD helps to align everyone on same page because it defines what is needed and why it is needed. Okay, another thing is BRD defines or helps to clarify the scope of your project. It will help everyone to know what is in scope and what is out of scope of your project, which prevents a scope creep, which will help you to proper planning. Okay, BRD also helps you to save time and cost because once you clearly document your requirement, but obviously there will be a fewer changes later, there will be a very less or fewer rework as you have clearly document your requirements, which will avoid building features which are not usable or something like that. Okay, BRD acts as a reference document. Developer refers to it for what to build. Tester you use it to write test cases. So you can say that BRD helps testers and developers. For testers, it helps to write test cases, and a stakeholder use it as a track if project meets expectation or not. It is very important to take a sign off from your stakeholders for the BRD. So you can simply say that the BRD is useful for sign off. Once you get approval, then only you can start the development of your project. Uh, BRD also supports change management because there might be possibilities that there will be a new feature request from your stakeholders for the current project. So your BRD, you have already documented all the requirements in your BRD. Okay, if there is any new change, so it will be help you to assess like how urgent this particular requirement is, whether this particular new requirement is depending on any other requirement or not, whether there will be a impact of this requirement on the current requirements or not, something like that. Get it? Now let's try to understand when to create BRD. Always remember, BRD always created at very initial phase of your project. Okay, when I'm saying that, whenever there is a department or stakeholder reports a particular problem or particular opportunity or particular requirement, BA always create a BRD. Now also remember that it will never happen that there will be only a one session of your brainstorming, or there will be only a one meeting and you will start creating BRD, right? There will be a lots of gathering, lots of meeting, lots of brainstorming session. So BA will get an idea what exactly the pain point of your stakeholder or what is the exact pain point of that particular business. Okay, so once BA understood that particular situation, BA creates a BRD and send it to the stakeholders for an approval. Now let's try to understand on which part of your business of your product or of your project BRD focuses on, and on which part BRD does not focus on. Okay, very first, BRD focus on business problem. What is not working right now in the current business or in the current project? Why does the business need this particular project, or why does the business need this particular solution? So basically, firstly, on high level, the BRD focuses on this area. After that, BRD focuses on the business or your project goal and objective. What outcome does the business want? How will success will be impact on the current situation, or how will success will be measured? Okay. Another is like all the business requirement will get captured in your BRD. This will be like, what we need, or we can simply say that what currently your business need. Okay. Another thing, your BRD also capture the project scope, which will include what should be included and what should not be included in the solution. It will help to avoid the confusion in later state. It will also document all the stakeholder needs, like who are the user, what are their expectation, or what is their role in the project, and all that stuff. Clear? Your BRD also include all the assumption you make while creating the solution, all the risk factors of that particular solution, and all the constants of that particular solution. Which means, what are the limitation like budget, tools, timing, and all that stuff? What are the assumption, and what are the possible blockers? Clear? Now let's try to understand what your BRD does not focus on. Very first, BRD is not about any technical implementation. It will not focus, or it will not give you any detail about the technical implementation of your project or of your solution. Okay. It will not give you any detailed out about your system design. It will not explain how developers will code. Clear? BRD is all about your business requirement, your current pain point, and what solution you're gonna provide. Okay, but not in technical aspects. Clear? Now let's try to understand how to create BRD. Very first, try to understand the pain point of your stakeholder or their business. You can simply conduct interviews with your stakeholders, have several conversation with them, try to understand what challenges they are facing. Then you can simply define the business objective of your project or product, which will give you the clear goal of that particular solution. Then in BRD, you have to capture a clear requirements that will be a functional as well as non-functional requirements. When I'm saying functional, it will give you the detailed about what should system do. When I'm saying non-functional, it will simply give you the requirements like the system speed, security, usability, and all that stuff. Another stuff, here you will give the detail about a stakeholder, that who is involved, who will approve what features, who will approve which module, who's gonna impact it, who's gonna use this particular solution. You're gonna add in scope and out scope of your project, what is included of your project and what is not a part of your project. You're gonna include dependency, risk factor, and assumption of your product or project or solution. You're gonna add timeline of your project, like project phases or estimation and all that stuff. Sometimes you have to create a separate document for this, but most of the times you add all this stuff in BRD. You take a review and approval of your BRD. Now get a clear idea. Let's take an example. Let's say our project is about the automating invoice generation for XYZ company. The project title will be like something automated invoice generation. Then you will simply give a business problem, like currently you are having the manual invoice generation which you want to convert into the automatic system. Then you will simply give a business objective, like to automate the invoice generation, and how you can reduce errors, how you can improve productivity, all that stuff you simply can give. Then you can simply give you the functional as well as non-functional requirement. You simply give the stakeholder list like product owner, finance head and all that stuff. You simply give the in scope and out scope of your project, timeline, assumption.